What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Fast. Today, let's get started with Daniel Cormier makes bold claim about status of potential Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall showdown. Jon Jones made his highly anticipated return to the octagon last month as he defeated Stipe Miocic via third-round TKO at UFC 309 to defend his heavyweight title for the first time. While Jones hinted at retirement leading up to the bout, he expressed that he intends to continue his illustrious mixed martial arts career. Following UFC CEO Dana White's recent guarantee that Jones will face Tom Aspinall in 2025, Daniel Cormier shared his thoughts on the potential matchup. It tells me that they're getting it done. It tells me that they've given Jon Jones a number big enough to get it done. Because I had always thought that Jones was kind of negotiating publicly. I don't think for a second he's afraid of anyone. I think that he was kind of going, I want a number so big that I'm going to ride off into the sunset and be done. But he's also kind of laying the foundation for people to recognize that it's almost over. He's about done, right? So start getting ready for life after Jon Jones, because I do believe that he's laid the foundation for a massive payday, but what will be his final payday? I don't think he'll be a guy that if he gets beat, or if the fights get more competitive, will just stick around trying to make money. Sean Brady is willing to go to enemy territory to try and secure his first UFC title shot. Brady's lone career loss came to current UFC welterweight champion Belal Muhammad at UFC 280. He has since rebounded with back-to-back wins over Kelvin Gastelum and most recently former title challenger Gilbert Burns in the UFC Fight Night 242 headliner. With former champion Leon Edwards claiming that he will headline UFC Fight Night 255 on March 22 in London, Brady likes the idea of that matchup. I just think if you look at the rankings and you look at how everything's playing out and who's available, me and Leon make the most sense. Yeah, if you look at it for me, historically, I would want to go somewhere and prove myself. Because my first loss did come while I was traveling to fight Belal, and I'm a completely different fighter now. So I just want to prove it to myself that I can go somewhere, go in someone's backyard and win a fight. My wife's due in February, so March is kind of soon. But to fight Leon, a #1 contender in his home, and like you boys were saying, if I win that fight, I think I am in title contention. So it's worth the risk to go over there and fight Leon and beat him at home. Beneil Dariush admits UFC 311 fight will decide potential retirement. Beneil Dariush acknowledges that he is nearing the end of his MMA career, and a 2-fight losing skid has added to the mental strain of contemplating his future. Once riding high on an 8-fight winning streak, Dariush faced a setback when he was TKO'd by Charles Oliveira at UFC 289. I don't know exactly when I'm going to retire. It's one of those things where I'm not going to be able to pinpoint, hey, I'm 36, I'm done, I'm 37, I'm done. It's really two things. Do I have the desire? Then the second part, which is just as important, do I have the ability? Currently, I feel like I have the desire, and I still feel like I have the ability. I don't feel like I'm lacking, and I do believe I've gotten way better over the year. It's been a really good year for improvement and growth. All that's left is being able to prove it, getting into that octagon and demonstrating what I've been working on. If I can do that, I'll continue to fight. If I can't, then there's obviously something missing, and you only get so many chances to fix it. At that point, it might be time to consider walking away from this. Curtis Blaydes can envision Tom Aspinall finishing UFC champ Jon Jones early. Curtis Blaydes sees Tom Aspinall being the first to take out UFC heavyweight champion Jon Jones. Aspinall has torn through the heavyweight ranks en route to claiming the interim title and successfully defended it when he needed just 1 minute to stop Blaydes by knockout at UFC 304. Blaydes thinks Aspinall can do the same to Jon Jones. I would pick him. I would go 55% him. Obviously, it's not going to be a landslide. We're going against Jon Jones, he's a legend. I think one area where Tom can win is just a presence inside. Jon Jones gets away with being able to stand in front of his opponent and just paw and pick at him with the inside leg kicks and the jabs. I don't think Aspinall is just going to allow him to hang out at that range. I think he's going to be blitzing him in and out, and that'll be the difference. I think in one of those ins and outs, he's going to be able to catch him because it only takes one. He definitely has the speed. He doesn't have the range that Jon has, but who does? But I think he knows that. I think he'll get on the inside of that range, and I think he'll be able to land an overhand. And it'll probably be early because he likes to blitz. He doesn't like to wait. So yeah, I think it'll happen early. Daniel Cormier, unsure about Conor McGregor boxing Logan Paul, says UFC comeback is a must. Even though Conor McGregor tweeted it, UFC Hall of Famer Daniel Cormier isn't so sure about a boxing match with Logan Paul. McGregor raised eyebrows Tuesday with a middle-of-the-night X post, in which he claimed to have agreed to fight Paul in an exhibition in India. Subsequent reports have indicated McGregor versus Paul is seriously being discussed as something that could happen, but Daniel isn't completely buying in quite yet. We talk about impact. That right there tells you the impact of Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor has told us a lot of things over the last 3 years. None of them have come to fruition. I'm gonna have to see it to believe it. I think he's gonna fight in the octagon. I think he has to, though. Where he made his home is inside that cage, and I think at some point he's gonna have to get back there. Dustin Poirier expects to make announcement of final UFC appearance soon. The Diamond hasn't been seen in the octagon since his June clash with Islam Makhachev. In his third and likely final shot at undisputed UFC lightweight gold, Dustin Poirier gave it his all. The longtime fan favorite went back and forth with the champion for 4 rounds, before being submitted in the 5th and final frame. Post-fight, the 35-year-old admitted that the bout could be his last. However, after months on the sidelines, Dustin has revealed plans to compete one final time. Since then, the former interim UFC champion has shown interest in bouts with many high-profile names. As of now, it's unknown who Dustin Poirier will face in his final UFC bout. However, it shouldn't take fans long to find out. I do have my eyes set on the octagon. Me and the UFC are close on making it happen. Hopefully I'll have some news for you guys soon. For what it's worth, Dustin Poirier has revealed a short list of potential opponents for his retirement fight. Earlier this year, the Diamond showed interest in bouts with the likes of Max Holloway, Justin Gaethje, and Nate Diaz. While Dustin has never faced the latter, they were expected to fight in 2019. However, the bout failed to come to fruition due to an injury. Islam Makhachev responds to Arman Tsarukyan. As he did with Alexander Volkanovski, Islam Makhachev wants to leave no doubt who the better fighter is when he rematches Arman Tsarukyan. This bout between Islam and Arman is a rematch 5 years in the making, as the two fought in April 2019. The fight won the Fight of the Night award. Maybe I underestimated him, because it was short notice and nobody knows him and he don't have name. I never watched his fights. He did well in that fight, but I'd like to finish all the questions, you know? With Volkanovski, I told everyone I had to close and finish the questions and get the finish. I'm going to be looking for the finish. Honestly, I like to fight a second time. I don't like rematch, but when I fight second time, I know everything that my opponent can do and is not going to be surprise for me. Sometimes when somebody like Dustin defends wrestling, and he defends my submission skills, it a little bit surprises me. But when I know what my opponent going to do, I have more options. Alex Pereira offers clarity on potential Magomed Ankalaev matchup. UFC light heavyweight champion Alex Pereira is stamping his authority on the decision for his next opponent, and in the process, denying #1 contender Magomed Ankalaev his title shot. Months after Magomed claimed that the UFC and bossman Dana White have assured him of a shot at UFC gold, Pereira has come out with a bold statement of his own. It won't be Ankalaev. Ankalaev had long been trying to fight Pereira for the title, but Alex didn't seem to be too interested in fighting him. In his short UFC career, which has spanned over 10 fights, Pereira has only ever fought strikers. Also, knocking out almost every opponent he has faced to date has only helped further his legacy. However, the UFC has been extremely careful with the booking of their newest star, and even now as they set him up for an eventual fight against UFC heavyweight Jon Jones sometime in the near future, Pereira is yet to fight someone who was half decent on the ground.